Good morning, everyone. This is Johnny Girardi. I'm DataSelf's founder and CEO. I also have with me Clark Walliser. He's one of our consultants. He's been around. Well, Clark, would you mind introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Clark Walliser. I have worked in the ERP industry for 30 years, implementing systems, and about 15 years ago started migrating toward business intelligence, the usual tools. Over the years, have known Johnny for about 15 years. Got more interested in DataSelf and what it could do until finally I couldn't resist. I came on board.
There you go. Thank you, Clark. I've been in the BI industry working with mid-sized companies for almost 20 years. I started with my team DataSelf in 2005. So we've been working with business intelligence, data warehousing for mid-sized companies for about 15 years. The main reason for today's webinar is about the new release, which is called DataSelf Lite. Until now, we only had what we call now the enterprise solution. And now we came up with a simpler, more affordable, easier to get going version. At the end of the day, just go to the next slide here. At the end of the day, what we really focus on is allowing decision makers to make timely and informed decisions. You know, anytime, anywhere, they should be able to access the reports and dashboards. They should be able to change things on the fly, slice and dice data, opening underlying records. And primarily, there's two main challenges when looking at the Acumatica world that we see and we're trying to improve, or we're working to improve. One is decision makers. You know, just many of these people, they're not very computer technical per se. So if you try to teach them how they can actually create and modify their own reports in Acumatica, that takes quite a bit of time. It's not so simple for them. Acumatica has a great reporting platform, but it's more designed for consulting people. So we see a lot of decision makers that need something simpler, easier, faster to get the reports and dashboards, and allow them to find information about their business trends. So we focus on that's one of the sides of the business we focus, empowering these people with an easier to use tool. The second side of the problem is many companies spend a lot of time with, you know, the people in accounting or IT, prepping data, exporting to Excel, manipulating. It's very labor intensive. It can be very labor intensive to do reporting out of Acumatica. Actually, not only out of Acumatica, we work with a lot of different ERP systems. And when companies have those pain points, you know, decision makers want easier access to their data, or they're spending too many hours around reporting, DataSelf can significantly help companies with those challenges. So that's the main focus that we're going to be showing today the value. First of all, DataSelf has been certified for Acumatica. The DataSelf Lite, we support from version 2018 R1 all the way to the latest. With the enterprise, we go back even further in history with companies with older Acumatica versions. I'm just listing here 3 of our reference site clients. Technicore, it's a company that is in the services industry. So with DataSelf, we brought their data from the old ERP system, combined with Acumatica. So now when they're doing project analysis, they can do historic analysis without, like, they never changed the accounting system. Home Enhancements is a distribution company, and they heavily use DataSelf for analyzing their sales history. And finally, Acumatica Inc., you know, the company, they also use DataSelf as their in-house data warehousing and analytics platform. Acumatica is very sophisticated. You know, they also use their own Acumatica reports and dashboards, and DataSelf takes analytics to the next level. Well, today in this webinar, we're going to cover primarily 2 main use cases of DataSelf Lite. The first one is helping salespeople look at their sales, open receivables, and sales orders. So we're going to look at the use case of a salesperson in that context. And then we're going to also show accounting people in looking from a context of looking at their open receivables, open payables, and cash flow projection. So let's take a look at the product. So right now I'm going to go to my Acumatica sandbox. I'm going to log in. And the first thing that we do, or we usually encourage our clients to do, is to have DataSelf built into Acumatica. So when the users log into their Acumatica, typically a good thing is to show a landing page showing major metrics around what the person cares. In this example, I'm showing the salesperson dashboard. So when I look at this, in this company, it's pretty much a company that cares about looking at their sales, looking at their receivables, and open sales orders. We are going to be building more connectors to other side of the business, like project accounting and whatnot. But right now, the current version tackles these 3 different pieces of the data. So as a salesperson, when I log to this Acumatica and I see my dashboard, by the way, let me put in full screen so we have more real estate. We can see things a little bigger and better. So when I look at this salesperson dashboard, the first thing is we also encourage clients that when the salesperson logs to this page, they only see their own sales. I mean, right now I have all salespeople, listed here, but we're going to show you later in this webinar how you can control security. So when a person logs in, they only see their own sales information. And if I'm, let's say, the VP of sales, then I have access to everything because, hey, I'm the VP of sales. Anyhow, so as a salesperson, this landing page shows me pretty much big numbers, total sales this year, total sales last year, how much is growing from a dollar amount and percentage. And right now it's showing me I'm looking sales through period 9. If I want to change to see through period 10 or whatever it is, I just come here, pick period 10, press apply. Now the whole dashboard is going to show the year-to-date comparison through period 9. And right now, as you can see, period 10 is still pretty low because this year, well, we're still halfway through period 10. Or if you want to make a comparison, hey, I just want to compare, let's say, the third quarter, last year versus this year. I press those 3 months, press apply. Now I can make a comparison of the third quarter last year versus this year and see how things are doing. Anyhow, let me go back to the full year-to-date comparison. Now, as a salesperson, typically my job is to help clients, is to sell, to be proactive, to be sure nothing is not having any issues with my clients. It's really helping the clients in selling more, right? So typically, some of the things that salespeople should be paying attention to is, my biggest customers, what products I'm selling the most, who's growing, who's declining. And the idea of these dashboards that we have out of the box is to help salespeople look at those metrics, see what people have in the open source orders. Do they have late invoices that haven't been paid yet? And maybe those late invoices are going to put on hold their credit and products are not going to go out of the door. So as a salesperson, I want to have clear visibility of all of these potential problems and opportunities so I can help clients. Like in this example, I'm seeing a list of my customers and seeing a list of my products, and I have last year, this year, and the variance for each customer and for every product. Right now, each of these 2 sections are sorted in a descending order by sales this year. And let's say, hey, I want to see, let's say, what happened with my top customers last year. I can come here and click sort on this column. Now I'm sorting my customer by sales last year. And guess what? My top four customers last year have major sales decline this year. Is that a problem? Well, you might want to figure that out. Let's say I could just select these 4 customers. I'm just selecting the 4 of them. And when I do that, the whole dashboard changes and filters itself. So right now, it's only showing these 4 customers where I've been shipping products to them, what products have been sold to these customers, the trend line, the light line is last year, the dark is this year, so I can see that overall I'm selling less. And one of these customers, this, ECIRE, whatever the name is, has some old invoices, pretty old invoices, $4,000, not a lot, but it's old. So, if the salesperson is not aware of these things, they should. So overall, some of the good things about DataSelf dashboards, they are highly interactive. You can click, you can filter, you can drill down into different sections, you can slice and dice the data within the framework. Like in Acumatica, when you're clicking something, usually you go into the GI showing the feeding data. We can also do that, but we can also drill down, drill across, and make interaction before you actually go to the most detailed level. Let's say, hey, I have here a bunch of sales orders. What's going on with these customers? I can select these 4 customers. And what happens is, again, I change the whole dashboard showing my sales for these 4 customers last year, this year, what products have been sold, what I've been shipping, the sales trends, and these 4 customers have nothing on hold, nothing aging report, so there's potentially no problem over there. Or maybe here, if you put the mouse over all of these data points, when you put the mouse over, there's a little pop-up showing a bunch of underlying information. So sometimes, let's say, hey, what is this yellow color in this AR aging? I put the mouse over, shows, well, yellow means aging from 1 to 30 days late. Right now, the total is a little over $1 million. And if I want to only see customers that are in this bucket, I just click. And right now, this is going to filter my aging report to show only customers that are late. And if I pick these customers, it filters the rest of the dashboard. Again, interactivity to let salespeople find out what's going on in their data. Finally, if you see a data point in most of these dashboards, let's say, let me pick this customer, which has let me just sort descending. So right now I'm showing top customer by sales growth this year. I'm going to click again. Now it's going to show top decline. And I want to analyze what's going on with my top customer by sales decline. I'm going to click on it. So when I click on it, I filter the whole dashboard, just showing that particular customer. And then let me pick one of these data points here. And then now I can have this pop-up that shows me open customer or sales details. If I click open customer, what's going to happen is, if I'm in a production environment, I'm going to open the Acumatica page for this particular customer. So it goes straight into the Acumatica page for this customer. If it's open product, I go to the product. Right now I'm going to click sales details. So what's going to happen in this case is, at the bottom of this dashboard, it's going to show this whole new section showing for this particular customer all the sales details, all the invoices, customer, product, everything. And then if I look at, let's say, just scroll down a little bit, I see one of these invoices, and I actually want to open the invoice. I can click, and if I choose open document, again, if I'm in a production environment, this will going to open exactly this invoice in Acumatica. So it's the equivalent of the Acumatica dashboard. When you click on something, you go to the GI specifically. And on the GI, you can click, like a document, a customer, and open the customer. We have the same functionality, but in a format that is easier for non-consultants, non-IT people to slice and dice the data, drill down across until they find the data point from where they can open something in Acumatica. In pretty much everything that I'm showing here on the web browser can also be done using mobile devices. There are mobile apps for Android and iOS where you have pretty much the same functionality for mobile devices. So let me show some of these other dashboards that salespeople can use. So right now, from the salesperson dashboard, I can go into these different tabs that give me different perspectives into the whole data. So in this case, I'm selecting some of the states that I've been shipping to my products. It shows which customers that I've been shipping to, which products, and how the sales is going over time. Let me go to the sales slicer, and let me see if I can give Clark control so he can actually take over this part of the presentation. Clark, if you can unmute yourself.
I am unmuted. Let's see if I can actually work this. Do I have control?
Right.
I do have control. Okay, this is one of the things I like as an ERP consultant. I like to keep things simple. If I'm coming as a business user, sometimes I want to look at information, but I'm not exactly sure what I want. I don't necessarily need a pre-designed report. I want to hunt and peck until I find what I'm looking for. This slicer is about the most versatile tool I've come across in 25 to 30 years. So I'm pretty excited about it. You have the 4 kind of tan colored fields at the top. They are your parameters or bits of information you want to report on. The field in the white is called the measures. And so that says, okay, once I choose the 4 groupings of information, what data do I want to see about that? I'm going to minimize this just for our purposes here to just period 8 and 9. That's all I want to look at. I'll apply that. Okay, so right now it says by salesperson, but maybe I want to start off by state. So I will go ahead and look. I only want to see sales by state. Then right now it just shows you your sales by state. You've got your color coding for the high and low information. But when I roll this out, expand this out, my next level is I want to see by salesperson. So then I can choose my next grouping by salesperson. And so then when I expand upon state, I get each salesperson's sales within that state and the total. Let's say I want to break out within each salesperson. I want to see what customers they have sold to in each state. I can select customer. Then when I go ahead and expand out on that next level, it'll list by state, by salesperson, each customer. Let's say I want to take it to a 4th level. I want to see what products that customer has purchased. My 4th level, I can go ahead and select product. And then when I expand that out, I can see right there all the products that customer has purchased and who the salesperson is and in which state. If I want to change these around, let's say when I get to what measures do I want to see? Let's say I want to see sales, and I want to see quantity sold, and I want to see the sales percent variance. I can change. I can select up to 15 different measures in there that I want to show. And now I can see by each product, I can see the quantity sold per period and my grand totals and my sales variance. So this gives me the ability to slice and dice just about any way I want. I also, in the upper right, I have my filters. So if I say I only want to look at, let's say, Illinois, I'll be middle of the country there. If I want to look at Illinois and apply, then I've narrowed everything down to only that one state, and I can see what salespeople and what customers are in that state. I can also go ahead and select other criteria on the right-hand side. Why is that not? There we go. I can select only one salesperson, only one customer, only one product. So given all of these variations, I have over 1 million combinations of how I can slice the data to find the information I want. If I want to drill down on only one particular customer, I click on them and I can say keep only that one. I can say keep only that one, and then that gives me clears the plate so I can drill down and see more detail about only that one customer without anything else getting in the way. Anything you want to add there, Johnny?
No, I think you covered really well. One thing that to me it's been an inspiration why we came with this slicer. The DataSelf Slicer is a kind of a new idea we came up in the market a few months ago. Is because with DataSelf Analytics and other BI tools, usually is fairly straightforward to drag and drop. We'll show later how users can actually also build reports from scratch by just dragging and dropping parameters into like a clean sheet. So that's pretty easy. However, we have seen that many decision makers, when we give them a list of, to drag and drop, if there's more than a couple dozen different fields that they can drag and drop, many business people, they think it's too much. Oh, just sifting through this list of, parameters, it's too much. Can you give me something simpler? So we thought about what can we do in DataSelf to make something simpler that super busy business person that are not really excited to learn these tech tools, they can make it variations without going through long lists of items and drag and dropping. And we came up with this, what we call slicer, which pretty much is putting these drop down lists. Each one of them has 14 different entries, the popular entries. It's easy to customize this list, make it shorter, make it longer. It's fairly easy. So we just created this 4 lists, can be 5, can be 6. And then we also have the measures. And pretty much any person that looks at what Clark just showed you, they'll learn how to use it, how to customize their own reports and become more self-sufficient. So that's the main goal of this slicer, is allow business people to be more self-sufficient. Clark, thank you very much for the nice demo. Let me just wrap up the salesperson dashboard with some other use cases that are very popular. So if you're a salesperson and you are shipping products, some of the challenges that you usually have is being sure that products are going out of the door. And if they're not going out of the door, that you can actually act on the problem and call the customer to tell, the product didn't ship, kind of, damage control sometimes. The last thing you want to do is clients to call you, what the heck, where are my products, right? You don't want to be reactive to these problems. You want to be proactive, because problems happen. But if you're there on top of it, clients will appreciate that you are taking care of their needs. So in this particular tab, you're looking at open sales orders. So you have the totals. Again, if you put the mouse over, total, they're supposed to ship today. Total was supposed to ship yesterday, and some of them are late. Then I have the same perspective broken down by customer, by product, the order numbers. So these are the totals using the same color code as here at the top, which is the same color code of the aging here. And also we have all the details, the aging, the customer, order number, the request date, the product quantity, and open amount. Now, typically, if something was not shipped yesterday, you should be aware as a salesperson, and you should be doing damage control. So one way we can help salespeople with these things is, let's say, I only want to see products that were not shipped, yesterday. So I'm going to say, I only want to see products that are 1 day late. And then I can click, I can get out of this full screen mode. There you go. So once I select this report to only show this information, I can click subscribe. And this I can do by myself. And this is, I can schedule how often I want to receive this report. So when I receive this report, let's say every day in the morning. I mean, we can add more options to this schedule. So let's say I pick every day in the morning, and then I click this checkbox. Don't send me if this page is empty, meaning if everything shipped yesterday, I don't need to know. It's all good. But if something did not ship yesterday, this view will have data, and then I'll receive an email in my inbox telling me, hey, these customers are going to be late. Be sure to work on the problem. So this is self-service. As a user, I can just decide to create this kind of dashboard out of any of these views. Or, if you ship a lot of products and you only care if only big orders were not shipped, let's say, hey, I only care if, orders above, I don't know, $2,000 were not shipped, then I want to know. If there's only small orders, someone else take care of the problem. Well, then if you want to do that, you can also use what is called alerts. I'm going to say for my orders, I'm going to say I want to create an alert. Right now, I have no alert so far. I'm going to create a new alert telling if my orders are above $2,000 yesterday that they were not shipped, send me an email. Otherwise, I don't want to know about it. So these are things that users can decide what will be the threshold, how often they want to receive, and being notified only when they need to, only when they care. So this is an example of self-service functionality that users can just take care of their own needs, customize it. They don't have to call IT. They don't have to call accounting. They can do it themselves. This tab here is to look around aging. So typically, late invoices can mess up with the sales process. People can be on hold, and sometimes the solution is only an email away or a phone call away. So this dashboard shows a pretty nice perspective of the total balance for, let's say, for my accounts only, how much on time, in late, how the distribution of due dates are over time. After today is all green because you're on time. Before today, they are 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, and so forth. I can see from a geography standpoint where my open receivables are and what the aging status is. I can see by customer, I can see by invoice, and I can see the details. In this example, look at this. This customer, which is pretty big, has some yellow and some brown colors. What the heck? I can just select this customer to see what's going on. And then again, the whole dashboard will change to only show the invoices specifically for this customer. What is the total, how they're breaking down, what is the due dates, what have been shipping to this customer, which invoices are late, and all the details. Or let's say if right now the company decides we need to be sure we're gonna get rid of the old invoices past due. So we're gonna just pick, let's say, these 3 buckets, I select them, and again, the whole dashboard changes to only show those 3 buckets, timeline, geography, customer, document numbers, and details. In DataSelf, typically we build these dashboards that have, charts, maps, grids, but we also have the same information looking from a granular standpoint, like on grids. This particular one has the same format as in Acumatica. So if you go to Acumatica and look at this report, you can put side by side, and they are, pretty much to the penny is accurate. But overall, this is easier to work with. This is easier to filter. This is easier to interact, because at the end of the day, business people are usually super busy, and they need speed. They need to be fast with their analysis. All right, so this is the use case for the salesperson dashboard. Let me go back now and open the accounting dashboard. So now I'm switching gears to the second use case, which is DataSelf Lite for accounting. And right here we cover 3 different perspectives: open receivables, open payables, and cash flow. So let me just talk very briefly about open receivables, which is the same as the salesperson. However, the salesperson, they can only see, the idea is they can only see their own receivables. From the accounting department, they need to see all salespeople. So on the accounting department dashboard, we also have this section that for the salesperson, we don't need to, because each salesperson can only see their own. Now the accounting people can see, hey, John K has a lot of the receivables, and actually a lot of them are in yellow. So what the heck, when I click John K salesperson, the whole dashboard will show only JK. So if you're the controller, if you're the CFO, and you need to work receivables for salespeople, this dashboard has additional functionality to help you with that. The AP aging for many people is not a problem because they pay their bills on time. But if you want to have a better perspective into your payables, this dashboard is similar to the receivables, but looking from a payable standpoint with all the buckets, all the vendors, the document numbers, distribution over time, and details. Cash flow is a big topic for many organizations, and our Lite version, the first release of the cash flow, focuses primarily on Open AP and Open AR. We're going to be enhancing this functionality to also include other transactions that affect cash flow. We're going to be able to pick valuables from GL, let's say payroll automatically, or recurring expenses. We're probably going to be adding projection from, let's say, open sales orders. Open sales orders and open purchase orders eventually become invoices and bills that have a due date that we can project into the forecast. So this whole framework is going to be enhanced as we move forward. But let me explain how currently the AP and AR cash flow projection works. So right now we have today, and moving forward, all the days forward, And the basic premises here is we have different bars. If the bar is up, means it's inbound money. If the bar is down, it's outbound money. And the color code represents the due date, if it's old or current. Right now, I'm taking all past due and rolling into yesterday. So yesterday we have a lot of, receivables that are supposed to come in and payables that are supposed to go out. Typically, things that are a little bit late are going to be paid rather quickly. So you can, right now, out of the box, you can choose how you want to roll out these 30 days late invoices. You can choose just push them forward. I'm going to click to push them forward, or we can use customer average. How customers on average pay their invoices. Usually it's 5 days late, 10 days late. You can also use that field if it's populated in Acumatica. But let me just push them forward 30 days and see what happens with my cash flow projection. So right now, all that yellow box that was all rolled up to yesterday, now is pushed forward 30 days, and I see the amounts moving forward. And this line here is the accumulation of the money that I have in the bank today, which is right here. Manually, I can enter cash today. Then I add receivables and payables, and my cash flow is showing what's going to happen the next month. And I have the line of credit right here. Right now, in a few days, my cash flow is going to run out of money because it's going to cross my line of credit. That's not good, right? So in the controller, I might want to see what I'm going to do in order to avoid that problem. Well, I have this major payment here on the 19th. What about it? Well, typically when you're looking cash flow projection, it's good to see things on a chart, but you want to see the details. I'm going to choose right now. I don't have a second pane. I'm going to choose details. I want to see all the invoices, all the bills, the due dates, everything. So right now, everything that is showed accumulated on the chart, I have a table with the details. And if I click this particular day that I have a major payment, what happens is it filters all the details to only show me the bills and invoices that are due in that particular day. And when I look at here, oh yeah, this vendor here, actually, I'm not going to pay because they haven't delivered yet this product and whatever it is. So I can click on this vendor and say, exclude. I'm not going to be paying it because of whatever the reason. When I exclude a major payment from this vendor, what happens is my cash flow now, the major payment on the 19th is gone, and then my cash flow is not going to cross the line of credit. Cool. If I really negotiate with the vendor, they haven't delivered, they're not going to be charging me, I will not have a cash flow issue. So this is the cash flow framework we just rolled out with DataSelf Lite. If you do have cash flow issues around AP and AR, and you want to make manual adjustments, how much money you have in the bank today, we have these ways to project, upcoming money exchanges. Let's say payroll. Every 15 days, you have $500,000. So you just put your payroll for the next, 30, 60, 90 days. You can put other, inbound, outbound money. Right now, let's say I'm going to receive on this date here. Let's put on the 14th. I'm going to receive a loan of $1 million. Let's say. And I receive the money from this loan, whatever it is. When you put it in, where did it go to? Oh, that's the past. We need to put it into the future. There it is. Now we put $1 million to come in on the 24th, and now my cash flow is even easier to handle. So this is the accounting out of the box templates. We'll get back to some other discussions right after my few more slides. So let me go back to my slide section to give some other perspectives. So pricing. So first of all, you can order DataSelf Lite from your reseller. So I encourage you to contact your Acumatica reseller. DataSelf Lite is available from Acumatica price list. So people can order DataSelf Lite directly from Acumatica, or also contact DataSelf directly, for your resellers. The pricing of DataSelf Lite is $200.99 per month. It includes one user, we call one Explorer user, and this user can pretty much do everything that is possible in DataSelf Lite. As part of our launch, we have a promotion that will also be giving 5 additional free viewers through March 31st. What is different between a viewer and explorer? It's just that everything that I've done so far use the viewer license. You can access the reports, you can slice and dice the reports, you can drill down, you can filter extensively. But if you want to create new reports, if you want to change the reports and redesign them, then you need the explorer license. So far, again, everything I'm showing is using the viewer license, very powerful. For additional users, the explorer is 40. I just made a mistake here. The explorer is 40 per user per month. In the viewer is 20. I switched the numbers here. So 40 for explorer, 20 for viewer per user per month. Deployment, pretty much in a day, the system is up and running. Working with your Acumatica var, we'll just need the Acumatica URL and credentials. Actually, the var most likely will do pretty much the whole process. We'll get the Acumatica URL and credentials. There'll be a data validation process to be sure the data is accurate and the data has only information that is allowed to be seen by users. So salespeople can only see sales related to their own transactions. There is usually an onboarding process. There is a training, so users will be able to access the reports and dashboards inside of Acumatica or outside of Acumatica. Maybe you have salespeople that are not accessing Acumatica. No problem. DataSelf can be accessed also outside of Acumatica. And now I'm going to switch gears and spend the next 15 minutes or so showing a fast track training, how people can actually learn to change certain things and do more ad hoc analysis in DataSelf Lite. So I'm going to go back to the product. And the first thing I'm going to show is natural language query. What is natural language query? It's allowing users to find answers to their questions writing in plain English. And I'm going to show an example. So right now I'm inside the natural language DataSelf framework. And I'm going to just type a query. I want to see sales by salesperson. Oopsie. Sales by salesperson. So when I type in the question, the tool will try to interpret what you're trying to ask. And I'm going to say, do you want to see the sum of sales by salesperson? Yes. I'm going to click this option. And then the tool will create the answer. So right now I see by salespeople, the total sales. Cool. Now when I look at the number, this shows the sales, $180,000. That's not right. I mean, that's not the number. Oh, right. In my sample database, I have sales for last year and this year. And I actually only want to see sales in 2019. So what I do is in 2019. The tool will try to interpret and going to tell me which of these options is what you want to see. Is when my document date is in 2019. Yes, I'm going to click this option. And now what happened is it's filtering the report. It's showing my sales for home account, $9 million. Right, that's the right data. Cool. Now, I want to actually break down the sales by salesperson by month. So what I type is by month. Then the tool will give me the option. Do you want to see by doc dates month? Yes. When I click it, it gives me the answer. So for every salesperson, I see a line in seeing sales by month. What if I want to see this in a different format? Let's say by chart. I click chart, and now it shows me by salesperson by month in what the sales is. So the point is, you don't need to know how to drag and drop. You don't need to know how to use, drop-down lists. You can actually type in your question. The tool will try to interpret what you're asking. Will give you options. You pick it, it will give you the answer. This is not a perfect natural language scenario. You got to get used to it. You got to learn how to use how you make the questions and how to interpret those things and how to explore. But it's amazing. If you get users to learn how to use this tool, they can become self-sufficient in a lot of their own questions. They can be in a meeting, they can be on their mobile device, post the questions, find the answer, and make more timely, informed decisions. And if this query becomes something they want to see, frequently, they can just click and save. I'm going to say as natural language 1. I click save. And now this report is part of the library reports. Now every person who have access to DataSelf, if I set up security that way, let's say they're going to go back to the main framework. This is like a portal. And if I tell another salesperson, hey, just search for NL1, and when they click NL1, the other salespeople would also have access to the same report. So very easy for a person to create a new report, save it in the framework, and keep it for themselves or share with other users. Very easy and very fast. And again, natural language is really empowering for that perspective. Another example I'm going to show is, suppose I am looking this dashboard and I want to create a new tab on this view. So now I need to be an Explorer user. So far, everything I've done is using the viewer user, the more affordable, the one that we are giving 5 users for free through March 30th. But if I want to create something different, if I want to change a report, then I need to be an Explorer. Right now, I am going to log off, not as an Explorer. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to log in as myself, so I'm a power user. And I'm going to go to Explore. I'm going to find again that report that I was working on, which was this DataSelf for sales. I'm going to go back where I was before. So right now I am as an Explorer. I need a little bit more training. I find this report that needs to be changed. And now I have the edit button. The edit button is not available for viewers, only for Explorer. When I click the edit button, I go into the edit mode, and now I can dramatically change. I can create these reports from scratch. I can change them dramatically. It takes a little bit of training, but boy, this is easier and more empowering than the Acumatica dashboard tool and reporting tools. Here, this tool is really designed for business people to be able to create and change things very quickly. Let me show an example. I'm going to go now and create a new tab. So I'm going to go here and select new worksheet. So a brand new report from scratch. So it's a blank report. And now I have here on the left the dimensions and measures that I can pick and build some things from scratch. Let's say I want to see sales by customer this month. I'm going to build from scratch. This report is ready, but I'm going to build from scratch. So I'm going to take customer name, drag to my rows. I want to see sales. So I'm going to find sales here. Drag to my columns. So right now it's showing sales by customer. Who's my top customer? I can just sort in a descending order, and this will be the top customer. Well, I want to break this down report by month. I can drag and drop document data to the columns. And now I see for the 2 years. I can expand from year and see by quarter. I can expand quarter to go to the month level. So I see all the history by month. And let's say I only want to see sales this month. I can drag my document to my filters area. And now I have on the right side a filter that I can pick the beginning and the date of my report. And maybe what I'm going to do is I want to actually only see something this month. I'm going to choose relative date, and I see sales this month. There it is, sales by customer this month. Maybe I want to see the last 2-3 months. You just pick and choose. Very simple, very easy for anyone to learn how to make these changes. We pick this month, and then also on a breakdown by product. You come to the list, find product, and you drag and drop. And that's it. So before, when we show the slicer, you just pick and choose out of those 4 pre-configured slicers and the build the query itself. Here you have drag and drop capabilities. And here we have several dozen fields that you can pick from. And if you don't get overwhelmed by the list of fields and you can drag and drop, absolutely you can do it. And you have even more power, even more flexibility. This list of drag and drop is highly customizable. Resellers can customize for you. And even if you want to learn how to do it, it's pretty much maintaining GIs that feed DataSelf and this list will be augmented or simplified based on whatever is in the fitting GIs. Let me just make another very quick example here. I'm going to create a new worksheet. And now I want to show something using the geo perspective. I want to see by state. I want to see sales. And just want to plot on a map. So just to show how easy it is to also plot things on a map. And let's make the color of the bubbles proportional to the gross profit percentage. So right now, lighter green is not as profitable. Very green is very profitable. And finally, I want to put both of these two reports that I just created on a dashboard. So I'm going to create this report here, which is the new one showing the grid analysis. I want to show the map at the top. I just drag and drop very quickly. And let me make this automatically sized. And then let's put actually on the left, it's going to be a little bit more real estate. And then here, you know, once I build this report, if I want to see what's going on with certain states, I can pick only whatever the states that you want. When you select them, the report will automatically filter to show what's going on, particularly in those states. So building reports from scratch is pretty much something that users that have the Explorer Lite, they pretty much have to learn how to drag and drop. This functionality that I'm showing is powered by a tool called Tableau. So it's super easy to use. There's a lot of online materials to learn how you can change it, how you can slice and dice it. And it's powered by the DataSelf Lite Transparent Data Warehouse. All right. Let me go back here. Just go back to my data views, to the salesperson dashboard. From a security standpoint, just give you my last perspective on this quick training. From a security standpoint, if I'm an explorer, the user that has more rights, I can take this dashboard, for instance, and only filter for one particular salesperson, let's say for Mary R, press apply. Now this report here, this whole report with all the tabs is only going to show data for Mary R. And now that I've done this, I can actually save this report specifically for Mary R and remove this filter. So when Mary logs to her Acumatica, this filter is no longer here, so she cannot change to anyone else. Behind the scenes, when she opens this dashboard, she only sees her own information. And the idea is you save one for each one of the salespeople, you remove the filter, and now security is controlled behind the scenes. Typically, this process, if you have, you know, let's say a dozen, 2 dozen salespeople, pretty much in 15, 30 minutes, you can set up the security. You can do it yourself, or the reseller can do it for you. You save it. You give the credentials. You build the credentials. You build these additional dashboards as URLs inside of Acumatica. So when the salesperson logs in, like it did before, when they log in, they see their salesperson dashboard from DataSelf, only showing their own information, so they can be on top of all of these metrics. They can easily slice and dice it, make better, more informed decisions, and help your clients more, hopefully help you sell more. All right, that was pretty much what I want to cover from a fast track training. As a next step, if you're interested in DataSelf, if you want to get going, please contact your Acumatica VAR or contact us. We can bring your VAR together in the conversation. As I mentioned, deployment typically takes about a day. If you order DataSelf from Acumatica, it's also, it's $299 per month on a 1-year commitment. If you order from DataSelf, you can actually go on a month-to-month contract. So if you're not sure yet, you want to test for 1-2 months to see how it's going to work for you, you can order directly from us. We can go on a month-to-month contract. Once you decide to switch to a yearly contract and have everything consolidated as a single invoice, then you tell your reseller, can you please add DataSelf to your Acumatica, pricing framework? We'll switch the license to Acumatica. You pay through the Acumatica framework, and then everything is locked down into your Acumatica, yearly invoice framework. So please contact your VAR to discuss those next steps, or DataSelf, and we can help you figure that out. For Q&A, question and answers, if you can use the Zoom panel, there is I think it's a Q&A section that place questions over there, and I'm going to be answering right now. So
Johnny, we do have one question from Glenn.
okay.
Our Acumatica is in a private cloud. Where will the information for DataSelf reside?
All right, Glenn, thanks for your question. So first of all, the DataSelf Lite that we just launched has been designed to be a cloud SaaS model that typically, right now, if you ask me, no, Johnny, I want to deploy today, it must be SaaS to SaaS, meaning your Acumatica should be available somehow over the internet. Either you make it public, like your internet, to the open internet. If you don't want to do that for privacy issues, then would you be able to do an IP to IP connection? Let's say open a IP to IP port or tunnel in your firewall, so we connect our fixed IP AWS server to your internal network and just refresh the data. So that would be one approach, but again, your data would be stored in our AWS highly secure cloud. If you want to have DataSelf completely behind your firewall, then we have DataSelf Enterprise. DataSelf Enterprise, what I showed you today is part of the DataSelf Enterprise, but there's a lot more. DataSelf Enterprise has a full-blown, full-fledged data warehouse that can be deployed in the cloud, just like I showed you, but it can also be completely behind the firewall. You own it, you control it. There's nothing that goes outside of your domain. So there are options of DataSelf. You want to keep it behind your firewall, or using IP to IP to connect the dots.
And Glenn said that it's accessible to the public internet, so that works.
Yeah, that would be super simple. As I mentioned before, we just need user credentials, Acumatica URL. That's what we need pretty much from our framework. The system will deploy usually in a matter of hours, up to one day. Then the reseller will be working with you to do data validation, be sure the data is accurate. By the way, when we do DataSelf, we have designed our framework so our numbers match with your Acumatica. Let's say sales in DataSelf should be matching with your revenues in your P&L. So the idea is whatever that salespeople are allowed to see in your revenues from P&L will be available in DataSelf matching to the penny. If something they cannot see, maybe you have in your P&L, let's say you have interest income. Well, so people should not be looking, well, how much money you're making out of your investment. So the reseller will work with you and with us to remove out of the GIs those GL accounts that have information that is not for salespeople. Salespeople should only see, let's say, customer and product sales. So we'll filter them out of DataSelf. So when salespeople access the information, it's completely safe, completely targeted to what they're allowed to see. Another thing that's quite often people ask us with DataSelf is, well, I have a lot of data, and right now Acumatica, when we run reports, when we run GIs, it's slow, and we cannot run certain things during the day because slow down our operations. We'll have that issue with DataSelf. Good news is no, absolutely. We have a framework that we have worked really hard to be sure that DataSelf Lite runs reports in seconds. No matter how much data you have, DataSelf Lite runs reports pretty much under 10 seconds. That's our benchmark. No matter how much data you have, all reports in DataSelf should run in under 10 seconds. And the way that we extract data out of Acumatica is usually a highly optimized process. The initial data load can take hours because we bring all the data that is required for salespeople and accounting, like I showed today. When we're pulling this data, we're pulling small bursts, like bring 1,000 records. wait for 2 seconds, bring another 1,000 records, wait for 2 seconds, and then we bring very slowly all the data. If you look at your Acumatica, you're almost not going to see any impact, even though we're extracting eventually millions of records. So the first load can be slow to load, but it's non-intrusive. It's not going to affect your Acumatica. And once we finish the first load, then when we do the ongoing refreshes, we do only updates, meaning we only bring new records that have been added to Acumatica or records that have changed. So even if you have 50 million records in your sales transaction and you need to bring a refresh DataSelf, every refresh is going to take only a few minutes, because on a daily basis, you're probably adding only hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe dozens of thousand records. And to pull those records on an ongoing basis, the extraction process is really fast. So no, we do not affect the performance of Acumatica. And yes, reports in DataSelf will run in seconds, no matter the time, no matter how many records you have. Any other questions in the queue, Clark?
Louise had asked if the does the license fee include the Tableau engine? I responded that we include the Tableau web client at this time. We do not include the desktop client right now. We might include that later based upon demand. The goal right now is to keep it as simple as possible, and so that's where we're working right now.
Right. Good point. So as I briefly mentioned before, maybe some of you are not familiar with, but the user interface of DataSelf Lite is a product called Tableau. It's a leading analytics platform. It's similar to Power BI. It's a more mature product, but it's similar to Power BI. Very empowering, very easy to use. It's part of the framework. So when you acquire DataSelf Lite, part of the package includes Tableau. As Clark mentioned, the Explorer license that is included, it's a Tableau Explorer. If you know Tableau, we use the same naming convention. As part of the promotion, we're also including 5 Tableau viewers. So if you know Tableau, viewer is the same thing as Tableau, but it's an OEM framework, so it's more affordable than Tableau actually, and it's as empowering. Clark was talking about the desktop. Tableau also has a desktop license called Creator. We have found that with DataSelf Lite, we have found that a lot of our clients, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, a lot of our clients never use the Creator license. So as part of the Lite framework, we're not including that license, because reality is with the Explorer and Viewer, you can do a lot. And if you needed the desktop license, the Tableau Creator, as it's called, then you go to DataSelf Enterprise, and DataSelf Enterprise has unlimited resources. You know, there's a lot of things you can do. But with the Lite, Explorer, and Viewer, most of our clients will be super happy with the capabilities. And everything I showed today, we're using the Explorer and the Viewer license.
Pat asked a question. They have plans for adding project costing to their database. Will this add to the monthly cost for DataSelf Lite?
Pat, good question. Thank you. So yes, we are going to add project and job costing. This year, the plan is by the end of the year, we're going to be adding many modules to the framework. Right now, we're deciding which module is next based on user demand. So if you have a client, or if you're a client and you want to have a module that is not being showed so far, contact us. Pretty much, you know, we are defining the priority based on demand. So we'll see, you know, if the job cost will be something added right away or not. From a cost standpoint, the answer is we still don't know. We just launched DataSelf Lite. Our plan is to make it affordable. Our plan is to allow people to easily, quickly, and inexpensively see if DataSelf is adding value. Our goal is to make a framework that help resellers, help clients to be more successful with Acumatica from a data analytics standpoint. And we're going to be releasing a lot of news. So stay tuned as we roll out our newsletters, our e-blasts, ask questions specifically, and we'll be telling. So I don't know yet as far as the cost goes. Well, It's 9 o'clock, so we're going to be wrapping up. This session has been recorded, so we're going to be emailing. We're going to be emailing you later, probably tomorrow, a link with the recording session. This session is going to be also be posted on YouTube, so it's public. Feel free to share with other people. Feel free to contact us. My email is here. Clark's email is here in our phone number. And be sure to involve your reseller in case you want to learn more and take advantage of Lite. Thank you for joining us. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.